Say that one more time.
Doing it live.
Yep. Okay, we are live.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back, AJ and Niles. We are continuing our series of creating dash proposals from Webapps. And this does not look very web appy, but I promise that is on the roadmap. But before we can get to doing proposals in Webapps, we need to figure out how the C++ code is serializing the data that users give it for the governance object prepared RPC. So that's where we're at. Last night we did some work off stream where we were able to get Dash Core compiling and like customized Dash Core built and compiled, and put some some logging statements in the code base so that we can kind of debug what things are at what points in the code. So that's where we are. AJ, Niles, do you have anything to add to that summary of where we're at and where we're going?
Line 681. Let's make it happen. Well, I guess it'd be a new line 683. We need to know what data is. Once we know what data is, then hopefully we can work backwards. Also, I would like to just run GDB and see if we can get the line break stuff does. It doesn't sound like y'all tried GDB. Is that correct?
Right.
I'd like to try it. Did you rsync the new binary onto the server?
I don't think so. We can start with that.
Yeah, if you will do that, then I will run this. And between, well, I guess go ahead and...
Is this still the right command?
Yep. I mean, okay, assuming that you're in the right folder.
Explain for the folks what you're doing with this rsyncing stuff, just so everybody knows.
Let's see what happened here. Something went wrong. What? So this worked before. Do sclient -- version. Do without the -- just do version. What the letter L? Do command -v sclient. Command space v sclient. Oh, weird. What the heck is Linux brew and why did it take over sclient? And what sclient is that?
I don't know, but I could switch to this one.
Yeah. I don't know what Linux brew is, and I don't know why they...
Okay.
I don't.
So it's probably like in my path, right?
Linux brew.
This Linux brew.
Somebody steal my name? Don't you hate it when people do that?
What is sclient?
It's a tool that I wrote in Go that does the same thing as OpenSSL sclient, but in a much simpler way, so you don't have to have like 15 arguments to remember. Okay, let me say that in a different way because you probably don't know what OpenSSL sclient is.
The other OpenSSL sclient is, yeah.
Sclient terminates TLS. It terminates an encrypted connection, meaning it pipes from an encrypted connection to a plain text connection so that you can use tools that are not built to support TLS with TLS. So I'm really confused as to how between yesterday and today some other tool could have appeared on your computer with someone using the same name that I've used for a different tool that I've been publishing for years and is, whatever. SEO hijacking.
So should I just like move it or something to a different name, or what's the
No.
what's a good way of switching this?
It's, what is Linux Brew?
I'm not 100% sure about that. Homebrew on Linux.
Okay. It
I
looks
haven't
like,
used it recently though. I
well,
haven't
it
used
looks
this
like
before.
it's been deprecated for the last 5 years. It says that it is now merged into Homebrew. So, have you had this computer a long time?
Sort
Like,
of, yeah.
I guess at some point you use this thing called Linux Brew. Anyway, I would say just get rid of the Linux Brew directory because you're probably not using it. And it's probably interfering with other tools that you have. So that would be just mv.linuxbrew to .linuxbrew.back so that you've got it there.
Could I just remove Linux Brew from my path?
Yes, you could,
Okay.
but
I would rather do that for
you'd
now.
have to know what tool added it to your path and where it added it to your path.
Right. Okay.
That's not going to work the way that you think it will. Or, okay, maybe you're doing something else. Never mind.
Wait, I should just do this one.
Well, that's strange. Yeah, you'll have to sudo that. And I'll just put something in Discord for the future that you could check, but I don't want to try to go through it right now.
Okay. And then that should be moved. Okay. It's moved. Cool. Now let's rsync.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool. So now, if I just go back into our chat history from yesterday. Oh, will you rebuild it with that debug in there? The
Should
printing. Okay, you already rebuilt it with printing what data is.
Oh, I'm not sure if you're talking about the thing that we didn't finish yet.
The most recent change, the log data of the C hash write method.
Still getting there. Hang on, where was the file I was in? Sorry, I just don't remember what file I was in. Oh, here we go. Okay.
No, not there, but right
Here.
Yes. So that right there.
So I added logging. It's included. So now I gotta print it. Okay, so what do we want to print? We want to print data?
Yeah, preferably as hex.
Right. So data is just a pointer and we have a length. So let's see here.
I'm going to just do a little jippity here. How to log char pointer as hex given its length in C++. Hopefully there's some sort of built-in for that, and you don't have to write a function. Hopefully it's not like JavaScript. Nope, it's like JavaScript, but it's okay. Jippity is writing the function for me. Okay, here's what Jippity says.
I should be able to do this, I think.
Yeah, that looks better than what Jippity says. Jippity gave me a really complicated, confusing function. I like your version a lot better.
So I'm assuming this will print out hex. Each character is hex. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, good. And that's going to do it without... Right. Yep, that looks right. I think that your solution is excellent.
Let me just look at the other usages.
No, yeah. I thought you were going to say, look at... Okay, it may be this, though. I'm going to throw this in the chat. It might need %02 in front of the X. Not sure.
I'm racking my brain for back in the day when I... Okay, so 02, I think what it will do is it will put in zeros as padding so that there's at least 2 characters. That would make sense.
I mean, I would think that if you're printing it with X, it would do that anyway. I don't know. I mean, this is Jippity after all. It just spits out nonsense. But sometimes it works. Sometimes it works amazingly well.
Yeah, I think this is right. The 02x. Okay, and then we should put something in front so that... Yeah, by the way, we can just have a single parameter, right?
I would just maybe the prefix SS colon space.
Okay, and then I kind of want something just a little easier to see, so we can just find it. Because the logs are saturated with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways. All right, so let's rebuild it.
You got a fever that can only be cured by more special characters in front of the thing I'm trying to log. Ow. Okay.
What the heck is the problem? There's...
And then you'll have to tell me what the line number is if you've changed the line numbers at all in governance.cpp.
Okay.
Our source RPC governance.cpp. I was going to break on line 176.
I'm missing something.
Is it like in the depends directory or is it out in the dist directory? Can you do a search through your history to see?
Okay, so I see that it's looking for it. config.status.old. Look at the changes here. Okay, so that was added. Where's config.status though? Was it removed? Okay, where's my thing where I can search? Do I just start typing? No.
Just the global code base search?
No, for the changes.
Oh.
I guess it should be right here. Right or no?
What changes for what?
I'm looking for that config.status file. It says we're missing this. And so it's not letting me call make.
So wait, you modified it from what's in the repository in order to get it to compile?
I mean, I don't think I did it manually. I think the .configure may have.
Well, then just run ./config again. ./configure.
Cool.
Are you in the right directory? What did you have to do to enable Berkeley DB?
Well, we did disable shared, and we did. I don't remember if this was it though. We did a couple things.
Well, it says with BDB, yes.
Right.
With GUI, no. With test, no. With ePBF tracking, no. Debug enabled, no. We do want debug enabled. Or maybe that means something else. Maybe that doesn't mean debug like
It's like an
BDB.
internal debug, yeah. Or I don't know. Or maybe it's a specific library.
Okay, well that looks good. So if that works, then build away.
It's looking better.
And so it created the
I remember
artifacts in the
this-
source directory.
Okay.
Yay.
It worked. Oh, wrong one.
All right, cool. So go ahead and copy that over, and I will get us started.
What do you mean, AJ? You'll get us started. Is this the mirroring thing? What's happening behind the scenes?
Nothing's happening behind the scenes. It's do you want to bring up that window with the server again?
What the? That was weird. Okay. What was the command that I used to bring that up?
T-dash. If you search T-dash, you're gonna have to make your thing has got to be like I think it's 90 by, let me see what the size of this screen is here. 90 by 32.
Okay.
I mean, you can be bigger, but you can't be smaller.
Yeah. Was this the command? This wasn't it, right?
No, the SSH command.
It was an SSH. Yeah. Let's try
Can
that.
we just instantly make your life better right now?
Sure.
Okay.
I feel
Sudo
rip rap
apt
coming.
get install -y fish.
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 And I believe the first time you run it, I think it just imports your bash history, and now search will be magical.
Cat.
I could be wrong about that though, but I've noticed it seems like usually when I install it the first time, it imports my bash history.
Cool.
And then type fish. Actually, it depends on how, yeah, we'll do this for now. Okay, so now type T- and hit up. And there we go,
Beautiful.
boom. Can we agree that your life is now instantly better?
Yeah, I do like that.
All right. So GDB file break. Oh, we are going to have an issue in that the blockchain hasn't been synced for a day. So it might need to run for a couple minutes.
Oh,
Okay, AJ, I'm going to ask again.
oh, I'm sorry.
Can you explain this window mirroring, tunneling, or whatever you're doing here?
This is the server that's running -D. And
server that's running -D in a data center in Utah.
A GDB instance. It's a GNU debugger. Is that what GDB stands for? GNU debugger.
Yeah.
So we can tell that hash function is called a lot. I may need to run the regular version. In fact, let's see if I can get this to die gracefully. I'd like to run the regular version of -D because these print lines are probably slowing down its ability to sync the blockchain.
Right. Do you want me to rebuild without the print lines real quick?
No, because I have the regular version there. I would just change the symbolic link. But also the process.
Well, also I can rebuild in like 10 seconds.
Like I can do a link, but
okay.
It's a sim link. Now the thing that concerns me is that if you do not shut down gracefully, you can corrupt your sync, and then you have to start again from scratch. I don't know if that's true for the latest version, but I have had that problem multiple times. Yes, it's true for the latest version because I've had that problem on RegTest, where there's like no way that I can figure out how to recover it. I am going to try to send it a graceful kill signal and pray to the dash gods that it will sync properly afterwards.
What is a graceful kill signal? Just the -DLI kill?
There's a command called kill, and the default is a graceful kill, which means that it sends a signal. It's essentially like a clean up and exit signal. And so, okay, see, it says received sig term terminated. So what that means is that it should have gracefully received a polite message that says, hey, process, I'm not going to kill you. I would like you to commit suicide. And then the process will clean up its remaining business and be done. The non-polite kill is where you take a desert eagle to the process's face hole. Yeah. That's the short of it. So we're going to get the normal version of Dash and link that. And then we're going to cross our fingers that it starts at like 99% and not 0. Which I think is what it's doing here. So after about 1,000 of these messages, or probably less, how many minutes are there in a day? So yeah, after like 500 of these messages, we should be at the tip.
Okay.
And it looks like we might be there. Okay, don't see anything else. So again, I'm going to I've got another screen open. So I'm gonna
Niles,
give it.
are you running dash D locally or what?
Not right now.
Did you get the sync going on your own computer?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, the command that I
I
gave
think.
you yesterday should still work today. The one that I'll just go ahead and bump it in the Discord chat, and then I'll resend it in the private public chat.
Definitely getting demonetized.
Yep. There's no room for context when you've got billions of videos in an AI scanner. We ask the process to self-delete. But I don't think that the algorithms can figure out what a desert eagle is. So,
Are we supposed to have these double slashes in here?
it doesn't matter. It's an artifact of the way that something else printed out. But in a
My
file
fans turned on.
system, it doesn't matter how many slashes you put. If there's nothing in between them, it just counts as one slash. Because then it is implicitly dot, which is implicitly self. So it works out. Okay. So now, where am I at? Which of these? Okay, that's the one that you're watching. Okay, so this one gracefully died, and now we need to. Let's see. I don't even think we actually need to relink this. I think we can just go into Dash Core next, and then I can, yeah, because I'm just going to run GDB anyway, so I don't actually have to relink anything. All right, so then when I run this time, hopefully it will have far fewer of those messages printing on the screen. And then we're going to do a governance object, submit. Okay, see? All happy. So much faster. Oh, never mind. I don't know what it's doing, but it's getting there. Or it isn't.
No, I think it's running. 206 UTC is right now.
So, Niles, in that window, hit Control A and then in.
In my window?
Yes. And the one that's running with all the stuff. And the one that has all the things flying by. Hit Control A and then in.
Are you saying in?
Yes, the letter in. So Control and then A. And then there you go. Yes. So the reason I'm having you do that is because now it doesn't have to send all of that traffic over the network, which means that it won't be blocking as much, which means it'll run faster.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do our governance object, which I think will be G object. Okay, so I am going to go back in here and I am going to do this link again. And
okay. I'm going to ask one more time, AJ. Please explain to everybody, all three people who are watching, what is going on with these terminals. I kind of know what's going on, I think, but I want you to explain it.
The debugger is running -D. And we're going to run our G object prepare. which should cause the
No,
debugger.
I'm talking even more high level, because what I'm looking at when you're typing, so like somebody just running into this stream thinks that Niles is running commands on his local computer and they're appearing on the screen, but that's
Yeah.
not what's happening. You're actually controlling. You're like piping commands from between each other, right?
Okay, yeah, it's this
Kind of high level.
1980s technology called the internet. No, I know, but it's like it's that dumb. It's just like it's so basic. I don't know how to explain it. We're connected to a server.
Okay, you stop then. Niles, you explain it.
Yeah, so there's a server, and both me and AJ are connected to it. So either of us can type, either of us can run commands on it, and we can also see the commands that the other person is running.
And this server is a remote server that is not on either of your local machines.
That's correct. It's in a data center.
Okay. I just wanted that to be clear because people that are watching have no idea what's going on. And I want them, especially, like, not especially, but at least one person, Huawei, who just commented. I'm not sure if he watched the first two streams and knows like who's running what terminals and whatnot. So,
Oh, I see his comment that we're getting demonetized. I don't see another comment.
No, he didn't say that he was confused. I'm preemptively trying to get a high level explanation for anybody who's watching.
Okay.
Either now or in the future.
All right.
Thank you. Proceed.
All right. So, go ahead and hit enter on that. Yes. No. Okay, hit Control A in. All right, so this is I wanted one of us to hit it and the other one to be on the screen. Okay. So good news, bad news. The good news is that
Did I tell you the wrong? I didn't tell you to change the line number or what?
I don't understand yet.
Okay.
The good news is that the debug worked at some level. The bad news is that I am not clear on how we tell GDB where it should be looking at the source code. I'm thinking maybe I should be running GDB from the source folder. That might be the thing that's supposed to happen here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit C for continue so that I can politely kill this and we can try something slightly different.
Okay. What was the problem?
The problem is that the debugger does not have that source file to bring it up. So what I need you to do you have this cloned from -hive?
-hive.
Or do you have it cloned from -pay?
I think -pay.
Okay. So what I'm going to need you to do is to add a remote get origin so that we can have the same copy of whatever your edits are. We need those committed into a branch.
Okay.
Or actually, you know what? We'll do this. We'll do this a simpler way. Okay, you'll just run rsync. And just sync up the source folder to, whoops. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to see if I can run kill.
Okay, I'm going to see.
Okay, great. All right, so what we'll need to do is just rsync up the source folder. So do /src/ With rsync, whenever it's a directory, it's important that it ends in a slash.
I'm sorry.
So where you have the dot,
That's RC. Okay.
or you can leave it just, okay, that's fine, yeah. And then on the other side, call it dash core or whatever. So get rid of the local opt lib dash core next bin, get rid of all that. And then just call it dash core. It's actually one word, but, and then it needs to end in a slash, must end in a slash. Boom. Okay, so that'll give us the code. Great. Simplest, fastest, easiest way to do this. So now we have the code here where the debugger is running. So I am going to run the debugger now from this directory. I think I have to run it from the source folder because I think that the file names have to match and the compiled build doesn't know that there's a source folder.
Mm-hmm. Or it does know. And that's what
No.
it would be in the source file.
No, because the breakpoint worked. The breakpoint worked, which means that it doesn't know there's a source folder. Otherwise, when I set the breakpoint, it would have errored and said can't find file at the time I set the breakpoint.
Okay.
Or the breakpoint just wouldn't have worked. But I'm pretty sure the debug info should work for that. Okay. So I'm loading this again. I'm setting the same breakpoint again, but I'm running this from the dash core source folder. So there, set my breakpoint, and then I'm going to run this whole command, and it's going to do all that mega printing to the screen. All right, so it looks like, yeah, we're going to wait for it to scroll through to get caught up on the next block or whatever it is.
You know what else I should add? I should make it add extra new lines when it's the end of that function. So we pipe a bunch of things in, and you can see like the FEFF. I guess maybe we could use that.
And also the functions that we're interested in have them put a header and new lines, because this is the hash function for everything that does a hash throughout the entire application. And
Right.
most of the things that hash in the application are of no interest to us.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and run the gobject prepare command again. And then that causes us to hit the breakpoint, and boom, baby. Check it out. You see it? Line 176, government object. So I'm going to hit S, 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 S. All right, cool. So what function just ran? I'm very confused as to what this was supposed to step into, or did it, wait, hold on. What was that? N is skip to next line. S is step into next line or function therein. So I'm confused as to how hitting S here resulted in all of this being output. Because that doesn't quite make sense. Was there a function called here, or there's a uint 256? Oh, crap. Okay, we've got another problem. That problem is that the program is halted, but it's actually multi-threaded, so it is still continuing to sync the blockchain while this is happening. So while we're paused and doing nothing, when I hit S to do the next thing, then all the stuff that's...
Pick a random thread or what?
No, it's the thread that's doing the output is halted right now. But when I hit S, then it has an opportunity for the thread that was halted to do whatever it needs to do. So I think that we're getting junk from other stuff. I'm a little confused.
Well, those last few lines you were doing, those were all like constructor things.
But it's calling the hash function. So, and there was no hash function called. So I think that these are coming from it doing blockchain validations. I don't think that those are coming from what we're stepping through. We could maybe add another parameter so that, but then we'd have to update 100 places in the code, so that probably wouldn't work. There might be a way to know where the call is coming from with the debug stuff, and then, yeah. I'm just going to keep stepping through till I see something that looks... Yeah, we're seeing output from the other thread. Yeah. We could maybe make an alternate function that's only called in the governance object that has an extra parameter, and we only log out the data from that one. Like create another function signature for... I don't know. But, oh, whoops. I definitely want to skip over that. Step into that. Okay. Oh, that's allocator stuff. We're skipping over that. I'm a little confused because it is pausing and waiting for me to do S even when it's doing this other stuff. I don't know. And parse hex is being called. Oh, I see what's happening here. Okay, I accidentally stepped into the convert to hex function. So, okay, VCH, yeah, that's just varchar. Yeah, okay, now I see what I didn't see before. So, the beginning of the line that we actually care about is at the end of the line because it's printing all that stuff from the other thread. So if we could somehow intercept, but this is the whole problem, is if we knew where to intercept, what the function is that does the interception, we would have done that already. Maybe I should have another breakpoint, because this is actually not super helpful. I wonder, how do I tell it? Okay, I think I would use F for finish. There we go. Skip over parse hex. All right, this is not working out. I'm just going to have it continue. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to let it get synced. I'm going to kill it. And then let's recompile and try something different. Because this is getting all of this information from the blockchain syncing thread is making it pretty much impossible to figure out what's going on in the GObject prepare thread.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Now it's shut down gracefully. So I can exit out and try again. Make sure to print a new line or two before all of this, because when the other thread has its turn to write to the console, it's going to push these onto the line that's unfinished until it swaps back over. And while you're doing that, I'm going to reconsider where these breakpoints should be.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can find some better places that are more targeted. Because I think I was very conservative with where I put the breakpoint, and I could be more aggressive. Probably want to break right at, I think it's get signature hash.
This VCH sig, are we expecting that to be hex, or are we expecting that to be JSON? That should be hex because it's like a hash of something else, right?
It should be bytes.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we want to display it to ourselves? As hex. But how should it enter into the hash? As the bytes that it represents, not a recoded hex representation of the bytes.
Okay. What the?
Okay.
I have multiple cursors.
GUIs, they'll ruin your life.
What? Oh, it's not defined in the .h file.
What isn't defined?
I just copied right And I was going to make just write me, so then we can have a separate one, so we can switch arms.
You can't rename write because that is a special function name.
You think so?
I think, or maybe I'm wrong. I think that write is one of those ones that's implicit. I guess that makes this rather hard because that's the function we need to change. We could try it. We could try it and see what happens.
Okay.
But I think that write is one of those ones that the C++ uses it in conjunction with the double left caret operator. Yeah, because it doesn't actually ever call write, does it?
It does.
Where does it call write?
Right here.
But that is not what you think. Because that is the hash of the hash. That's not the meaningful information. So I believe that when it has the double caret, that write is a special keyword-esque name that the double caret responds to. Because putting write me right there would do nothing because result.begin just gives a pointer to finalize for finalize to finalize what it's already written to. Oh, there's the write up above on 129. Oh, that's the one you highlighted. Sorry, I saw 140 highlighted first. So is this one... And then the lowercase, does that do right? The operator... Yeah, it's got finalize.
Yeah, this is the same one over here too.
Yeah, so I think that write is like a C++ interface thing.
Well, they're calling it explicitly. Yeah.
Well, maybe the person who wrote this code was a better human being than the person who wrote the other code.
Well, why do you think that it's an implicit thing?
Because we never found a function. Well, one, because we know that the double carets have behavior that's not defined anywhere.
This one.
So that's calling serialize on the object.
Right. And then based off the type, it's going to pick one of these.
So what is the type when... What's the type when it's an object then? What does it do when it's a governance object?
When it's a governance object, is that happening though? Let me go back.
So there is the... Okay, this is the line that we need to figure out what's going on. This is the killer line. Is SS double left angle bracket object. That line, which you could find by doing grep -r -- oh, apparently this does smart quotes. That's unfortunate. Let me see if I can get rid of the smart quotes. Okay, I think I got rid of them. So if you ran that, you would... Yeah. Yeah, because the governance object passes in this, huh?
Well, it's going to depend on what is passed into serialized hash.
Right. So when the governance object is passed in, what does it do? That's the whole reason we're running the debugger in the first place. Is we weren't able to find that out yesterday.
Okay. Give me a second to think about this. So where's this called?
It's called in. Let me go find it.
Here, get signature hash. And then
Yeah, get signature hash on C governance object returns serialized hash this. And we were never able to find a definition of serialized hash that made sense for governance object.
okay, so yeah, we're doing get signature hash. That serializes the hash. It takes this,
Which is a governance
dereferences
object.
it.
So maybe there's a dereference operator. Maybe that doesn't return memory of the object. Maybe that is some sort of serialization thing. Although that seems a little bit
Well,
weird.
this should be a pointer implicitly, right?
It's C++. I have no idea.
Well, it wouldn't be a copy every time you call a method. It's not going to copy the object every time you call a method. And so implicitly it should be a pointer.
Yeah, but you're speaking as an intelligent person.
Well, I I still think that's how C++ would do it.
Okay. I don't disagree, but I mean, they overload operators, right? So there could be an overload of the dereference operator or something. Because
Fair. But I can search operator in this file and there's nothing.
Right. That's what we came to before, which is why we're in the debugger, because we're trying to step through and find out when it serializes this, what the heck is it doing?
Okay. So it's showing me, yep, passing C governance object in as the template. And so that makes object a const C governance object reference.
Did you upload the latest
then-
version of the file that you
And then,
built?
yeah.
You did? Okay.
I mean, I didn't rebuild it again with the changes I just put in.
With the extra
With the extra new lines.
new lines and
and
carrots and stuff?
Yeah, I didn't finish that one yet.
Okay, go ahead and do that and get that up to me.
Okay.
And you keep barking up this tree and I'll bark up the GDB tree.
Okay. Where's my other terminal? Okay. So where am I? Okay. If I make this, did I finish what I was doing?
You might be able to get diff and then be able to tell.
Excuse me. Okay, let me go back to okay, that doesn't look bad. And then inside of here, inside of here. Yeah, I did the write me thing. And then all I did with that was just define it in a .h, so I didn't actually map anything in here. Should I put this back inside of write so you can see those? Or do you not care about that now?
Yes, because that is the only way that we have present. We don't need write me. But that is the only way we have it present to see what the data is.
Okay.
I wonder
then,
if there's a way to have it run the governance object stuff, but not run blockchain syncing. Like maybe we could just return true out of that thread or something.
just checking what the changes were real quick. Oh, let me close that. So it should work. Sorry, I gotta make it smaller so I can read it.
Okay, bitcoind.cpp. Is that seriously? It's still called bitcoin.cpp? One day, Dash developers will embrace their true nature and quit naming all of their files and documents Bitcoin. One day. I have a dream.
Sometimes I wish they would print the lines out in reverse order.
What's that?
When there's an error. Okay, so what's the problem? It just doesn't like this. We need it.
Oh, like tell you where it came from first and then lead up to where it happened? So that...
Yeah.
You know, Niles, I swear, man, you have the most basic, idiotic ideas. It's like a dummy could have come up with that. Why can't the geniuses that write this stuff?
I don't know. Is it just upset about this? Like, what's the problem?
I think it would cause an uproar, though, because people have gotten so used to it being backwards that if you actually put it the intuitive way, you know, people would just... They wouldn't be able to handle it.
Did I accidentally bork something?
Yes. Okay, this is so weird. Where is the main function? I can't find the main function. I don't know where the dash CLI main is. Of course, I also don't know what dash CLI is called. I assumed it was called dash CLI, but I don't think it is.
I typed clear, and now it's saying Linux brew /clear.
No! No!
I literally moved that, right?
Yes. So what's happening is that Linux Brew has hijacked some of your stuff. So what I'd recommend...
Just let me open up Fish again.
Yeah, also, if you want Fish to be your primary shell without any risk, you could go into... Like, the way that I like to do it is just go into the settings for your terminal. Are those up on the upper right or the upper left? And then go to... It might be general, it might be command... Run command as a login shell. Yeah, probably something like that. And then Fish. And then if you save that and then open up a new window, then it should open with fish. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Now, the downside to fish is that it's not POSIX compliant. Most notably, it uses parentheses and dollar signs differently. So it's an excellent interactive shell. It is not a good scripting shell. It is not good for pasting scripts into. You would need to paste your scripts into a file and then run them from the file with bash or sh. But it's just so good. It's just so incredibly good for dumb people like us that I just, yeah, it's just not worth using anything else, and dealing with having to run scripts from files is not a deal breaker. For some people it is. They like to be able to paste scripts into their terminal and just have them run, and I like that too when it's, 2 or 3 lines long. But you can just type bash and then paste your script if that's how you want to do it. Then hit Command D and you're out of it again.
Okay, so in tiny format. Yeah, in tiny format, it's getting upset about inside of this instantiation required from this, required from this, required from that, required from that, required from that. Because I did a log print because of this.
Oh, of course. It's not called dash CLI. It's called Bitcoin CLI. That's why I couldn't find the file.
Oh, okay. So this isn't a. Gosh, that was really stupid. Okay, so you want to iterate over this? Let's iterate over it. Okay, cool. So we take.
See, I think that double left thing, I think if you were to replace those with .right, I think it would still work. I think that's what's going on. Is ss.write hash parent, ss.write revision, ss.write time, ss.write da 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 da. That's all fine. But the other thing is that all of these, we know what they are anyway. So this logging this, I don't believe will actually help us solve our problem, because this one already is explicit enough that we can read it line by line and we can guess to what it's going to do. And then you found the function that shows how it serialized it based on, it's how it's going to serialize a uint and how it's going to serialize a whatever it was. So that was the important information we're missing here, is how is it going to serialize it? And you found that. What we don't know is how is it going to serialize C governance object, because that's the one that we need to know to know what the VCH sig is. Okay, so now that I've got that, So what I'm looking for is now I'm in the bitcoind.cpp and I'm looking for a place where it starts up the sync thread, which I imagine is going to be pretty integrated. I mean, that makes sense. And I may not be able to find a way to disable the sync thread, but I'm looking through to see if I can find anything that screams out, I'm the sync thread. Okay. Lock data directory.
I synced up my files and the executable to the remote server.
Okay. Well, I will confirm that I see the changes that I'm expecting, and I do. Okay, but one more thing. So the most important bit is where the VCH sig is being created, but that's where I've set a breakpoint anyway. Because all this stuff that's in that get hash function, we already know what that is. We don't even need to log it because we already know what it is. I mean, we can log it to verify as a sanity check, but that's not the question mark. The question mark is VCH sig, where it calls the serialize hash. How did it get that? But anyway, I'll go ahead and run this in the debugger. Yes, load new symbol table, info breakpoints, governance objects. Yep, okay, good. So it's got the right breakpoint. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this. I don't know if you have the thing open or not. Probably going to just have to copy and paste that command. Yeah, let me go copy and paste it. Where did the run command go? There we are. Let me get rid of this thing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run it. Whoops. Run, there we go. Okay, so it's running, it's printing out stuff. It looks like it's getting to a good place. And I'm going to go ahead and run the gobject prepare again, which actually is going to fail because we need to rerun this with the present timestamp. So I'm actually going to change the timestamp. Oh, hey, you know what would actually be really, really, really helpful? Before I even do this, let us not have it submit the transaction to the network. Okay. That way we don't lose our test dash every time we run the prepare command. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No.
It's in source RPC governance. If you look for prepare, first thing that comes up is the help. The next thing that comes up is gobject prepare. Go to the end of the function, and there is a commit transaction, which should not run. That should actually be in the submit function. And maybe we can make that change at some point.
Yeah, in here.
Let me switch back over to your screen. Yeah, so just comment out that line and recompile it with that line commented out.
Okay.
because then we don't have to go to the faucet every single time we want to test this. Which would be much nicer. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and find out what our current timestamp is. And then I will go and add what was it, 10,000 seconds? That's 1,000, that's 10,000. Bum, 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 bum. Let me know when you've got that compiled and synced. And I have the new version of the command for a timestamp right now.
It's done.
All right, thanks. All right, I'm killing it. And then I'm going to go back to reload the file table. Check the breakpoints. Whoops. Run the file. All right, now I'm going to go over to, this is my newest object, yes. That ends in D. Okay. So I'm going to run this. Loading P2P addresses. Error code, -28. Oh no, that's not good. Did I issue the wrong command? Dashboard, caches. I may have corrupted my blockchain. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Okay, it's just taken a little bit longer than hoped to get started. All right, end epoch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that one goes up by 1. This one goes down by 1. Copy. Change it over here. Weird. It did not hit the breakpoint. In fact, I don't think that it, let's see. Okay. What happened? All right, so something went wrong, and the breakpoint didn't get set. So I'm gonna just quit out of this, go back into it, and try again from the top. Go. And what was the file number I was looking for? Governance object, source governance object. 270. 270. Okay, so set the breakpoint. Good. And then run the program. And then wait 10 seconds or so for it to get started. Okay, it looks like it's slowing down. No, maybe not. I'm worried that I may have done something like by killing it and restarting it and killing it, restarting it. I may have gotten it into a bad state where it's trying to resync. With everything scrolling by so quickly, it's impossible to tell. Looking for some lines that are not plus SS lines. Plus SS lines.
Well,
Particularly, I'm looking for a line that says something like accept or tip. I don't see any. Okay. Well, it definitely slowed down there. So maybe that's a good sign. I'm going to try to run once again the
your
GObject
G
prepare.
object.
And again, it seems that I have copied the wrong one. Let me try this one more time. Write governance object failed. Write governance object failed. But do I have... Hold on. Hold on. Huh. What is going on? Well, I don't understand what's going on here. Okay, so the line that it's failing on, I'll go ahead and kill this. And I'll bring up the line that it's failing on.
Okay.
Okay. I think that inadvertently we made a change that caused things to fail, which is not surprising. But this right here is failing. So write governance object from the wallet is failing because it's printing out write governance object failed. So just for sanity's sake, what I'm going to do...
I think we're a little past that.
Oh, right you are, Niles. Right you are. But nevertheless, for the pretense of sanity, I'm going to run normal dash core and make sure that normal dash core is also that does not fail. Because if normal dash core fails, then what it may mean is that one of these times that I killed it, I didn't kill it properly, and now it's got a corrupt 8 gigabyte data set, which is just fine because we can copy the 8 gigabyte data set from you because you've got it.
Yep.
Uh-oh, no debug symbols. Oh, that's fine. We knew that was going to happen.
Rewrite it in assembly.
Rewrite it in assembly. That would actually be a lot easier to read. That would be a lot more clear as to what's going on, for sure. And it'd be easier to transpile that to a modern language. Okay, I think from what I'm seeing here on the output, it looks like I don't have a corrupted sync. So I'm going to go ahead and try to run this command. The bad news is that it's going to spin my dash and we're going to need to get more from the faucet. No, write governance objects failed. Okay, so there's something actually wrong either about the command itself, or I may not have any dash left because we may have already run this enough times to have exhausted the dash that we had. So list unspent. Oh, it says we've got 1.69 unspent. So that leads me to believe that there may be something wrong with the object. All I changed was the date. But I don't know. That's kind of a vague message. It failed. What about it failed? I'm going to go try the one that we were using yesterday, and I should get the message that the date is wrong. and then I'll just update the date in that one and try again.
Okay. And you don't think it's because I got rid of the commit transaction?
No, it couldn't be because this error happens 3 lines before that. Okay, maybe they used an overload operator for sequence of line numbers, but barring that, it's impossible.
Well, I mean, unless this gets called and then it comes back around and then it errors, right?
Wait, what gets called?
I mean, like, what if what if this full thing completes and then we come back around and it breaks because something else wasn't committed?
Well, okay, I'm going to say it couldn't do that because the commit transaction would fail because it's already spent the money.
Okay.
But it's also not checking the error from commit transaction, so we don't know. You could be right. But if that were the case, then it should have hit the breakpoint.
So this locks the wallet, adds a transaction to wallet, because if it has change, it's also ours. Otherwise, just for transaction history. Why did they put a period there? That's not even a real sentence.
Well, a lot of the people aren't native English speakers.
Oh, okay.
So you got to give them some slack on that one.
Okay.
It also could have failed because we already tried to submit this governance object, maybe. So we've already done a transaction for it. I'm going to try changing the name of the governance object. I'm switching it from test proposal to test proposal 1.
Michael's here. Michael was coming in clutch for me before.
Okay. I'm going to try this again. Hey, oh, dang it. I just spent the dash. Dang it. I think the date was wrong.
Okay.
I think that the date, so there's 3 dates, and I think that the date that you use as the submission time has to be earlier than the start date. So I think it's submission date, start date, end date. Or at least it spent my dash. But now we need to go to the faucet because we need monenes again.
Monenes.
We need monenes. Okay,
Do we
so
care about all these other commit transactions? Oh, this is in a test, and this one's RPC wallet though. This is for send money, and this is for send many. What is send many?
I'm going to go to one of the faucets.
Send multiple times.
Oh, wait, the latest faucet is on some weird address, right? No, that's the other one. All right. So enter your dash here. Enter dash. Click I am not a robot. I am not a robot clicked. Get coins. Get coins clicked. Fingers crossed. Nothing is happening. No indication of success or failure. Can I click it? Oh, okay.
Michael, are you seeing this?
I got indication of success. All right. Oh, so I changed two things. I changed the date, but I also changed the name of the proposal. So I'm going to try that again as well. I'm going to try changing the name of the proposal from 1 to 2. Okay.
I didn't run that, did I?
Run what?
I ran.
All right. So let's go back to GDB. Kill all -D. Let GDB continue so it can exit cleanly. Exited cleanly.
Yep.
All right, dash core next. Load new symbol table. Okay, plot twist. Maybe the signature is empty at the time that this is called and isn't actually updated.
It's because I thought it would autocomplete, and that's not how that works. Now it should work. Okay. So AJ, I'm recompiling with debug turned on, the internal debug thing.
I think that this may be a valuable piece of information, and this may actually show up in that the output that you already have. It may be that the signature is not calculated at the time that this get hash is called. So that scares me so much, because that would mean that every time you call get hash, you could be getting a different object.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some print debugging in to test that.
Well, you already did.
Well, we could print out whether it's getting a different hash every time it calls get hash.
Well, we don't. Assuming that hash functions work, if the signature changes, we're going to get a different hash.
Right.
So with the output that we have, we know that if one time it's called it has a signature and another time it's called it doesn't have a signature, then we know that the hash will be different. I mean, again, excellent sanity check. But I'm fearing that the signature might be all zeros at the time that it's initially called. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this gobject prepare again, and I'm hoping that it triggers the debugger. I am so confused. How did it not trigger the debugger? And what did you use? Left caret, right caret? Something like that?
Yeah, a bunch of. Actually, I think I took that one out because you told me we don't need that.
Well, no, you don't take it out.
You said it's not necessary.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's not useful at all. I'm saying that's not the part where we're getting stuck, but it looks like where I set the breakpoint is never getting called, and I'm not sure. There might be something else going on. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Because the breakpoint was getting called, and now the breakpoint isn't getting called. So I have to retrace something or figure out a reason why this breakpoint is no longer getting called. Okay. So we're in the source directory. That's correct. Because the breakpoint that I was setting is under governance objects on line 270, where it does serial hash this. And that's from get signature hash. And get signature hash is called in sign. And sign, wait, was it called somewhere? I think it was called somewhere else too. Check signature and sign. Called from sign. Okay, and then sign was called from what? I think the question was VCH sig. Okay, so sign, yeah, because sign is supposed to set VCH sig. Is there anywhere else that VCH sig is set? Okay, I think that a basic assumption is wrong. The signature might not be set. That might be dead code. Maybe objects aren't signed that way anymore. I don't think that's true. It's referenced a number of places. Governance. Okay, that looks like it's parsing an object. Vote. That seems like a function that will set signature. Okay. 2-byte vector false. So that's zeros. 2-byte vector 0, 2-byte vector 0, 2-byte vector 0. I don't know.
Where are you looking right now?
Do you not see my screen? I meant, by screen, I meant the literal Unix command screen.
Yeah. So this sign, yeah, this is the C governance object. The other ones are inside of like C governance vote stuff.
All right, you made the thing too wide. Wait, what did you do? How is yours? I don't see my little bars. Whatever. Sorry, you were saying the other one's in vote. Yes. That's what I was looking at these. Yeah. So
okay.
There. Oh, you can't see when I clear the screen because that happens locally on my terminal. 2 byte vector false. What does that mean? How can we see where... Okay, use legacy scheme. All right.
It's inside of bls.h line 126.
Yeah, I was just there. Okay, so what I'm seeing seems to suggest my worst fears are confirmed, which is that rather than passing a parameter to get hash to include or exclude the signature, it appears that before it ever gets the signature, it constructs the hash.
It constructs a hash, and then it takes the signature and hashes again, right?
No. What I am not seeing that the signature, that the sign method is ever called on gObjectPrepare. So every single time you call the get hash function, the only way to know what the result is going to be is to trace through the code to figure out what was set beforehand, because it seems... go ahead and put back all those print statements that you had in there before, and we will... I'll update this to put the breakpoint, because it never called the breakpoint. So it never got to the point of signing it. Which means that it is getting the hash of the governance object, which this kind of makes sense though. Because a BLS signature is going to be a masternode thing. So, this is frustrating. This is so frustrating. So what it should have is it should have two functions. One function should be called get hash unsigned, and the other function should be called get hash signed. Because what it's doing is it's relying on state and whatever's been run previously in the code to determine which hash it's going to give you. And from what I just experienced, I no longer believe that it's signing the governance object, which now that I think more about it, makes sense because a full node doesn't have a BLS key. I was thinking that it must be generating a BLS key in the wallet or something like that, but I don't think that that's the case. I think that the masternode gets a different hash of the governance object.
So this is the only time sign is called, according to my IDE.
Yeah.
Governance trigger.
Yeah. So it was a red herring. The object, the object has different hash signatures or hashes based on how you're getting the object in the first place. So VCH data is going to be all zeros when we print it out.
Okay.
That's... Which, I mean, the good news is now we can probably construct it and get the right hash. The bad news is that the get hash function requires intimate knowledge of the code base to know what it's going to return, because it is not idempotent.
Okay. Well, I put the print statements back in. You want to recompile?
Yeah, go ahead. And I'm going to look for where I need to have the debug. Which actually is that same file. That was governance common, right? Yeah. Okay. Set number. So my guess is I'm going to be, doing this on line. Well, what are you typing as well? What's going on here?
No.
Okay, something has happened. I might have to disconnect and reconnect. Okay, what in the world's going on? There we go.
I turned on the debug option, and now it's taking a lot longer.
What does the debug do? The debug option do?
We're gonna find out, AJ.
I don't like the sound of that.
Michael probably knows. Yeah, the build is much cleaner this time with the correct depends linked in. Okay. So let's do the rsync. I always forget. It doesn't. There we go.
And maybe it's dead code. It seems like it wouldn't compile though. But maybe it's dead code. Maybe it isn't used anymore. But we're getting somewhere. We may
Is there a way
be.
to rsync just the things that changed?
That's what rsync does.
Okay.
Your object files all changed because you recompiled.
Okay.
And whoever set up this C++ project was a college student, and their professor did not instruct them to make the makefile put things in an artifacts directory rather than putting them in the source folder. So there's that.
Well, maybe in whatever language they speak, SRC means distribution folder.
So I once worked on a government project where they had, I don't remember what the exact company was, but it was on the scale of Lockheed Martin. It was one of the big three or big four: Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, what's Raytheon. It was one of those companies. They had contracted out, and it was something crazy, like a $2 million contract, probably more than that, actually. So then the Northrop Grumman or whatever it was subcontracted it out to another agency that then subcontracted it out to a university. So eventually I met the college students that were working on the code. Now, because of the non-disclosure agreements, the university students were never told what they were working on. They were given sets of requirements, and their professor, their professor gave them the requirements without any context for what they were working on. So they reinvented an alternate form of HTTP, but without any of the, improvements and bug fixes that we've had from HTTP 1 to 2 to 3. And the first time that the students, the contractors, and the government officials were in the same room. I wasn't in the first meeting. I was in the second meeting for that. And because they never knew what they were working on, they came up with this horrendously convoluted system that essentially was HTTP. Like it had headers, but it was all in XML. So the headers were in XML, and it was like this multi-message thing where you sent like the request that was basically like a GET request or a POST request, but then you sent the headers that was like compression enabled or disabled. I mean, pretty much the same thing as HTTP, except it was individual XML packets over UDP. And yeah, and nobody knew why things were so complicated or what was going on. But then when we finally all got together, it was like, so you've been working on this for 2 years without ever knowing what you were working on or why you were doing it. And this is why we've all been struggling and not been able to have any communication. Got it. So there's a lot of stuff that gets farmed out to students in that way. And the professors, like they haven't worked in industry for a decade or two. This is really slow. Holy moly. 400 megabytes of -D, huh? This is going to be excellent. Maybe it'll come with all the source files included. That would be nice.
What?
Write error. No space left on device.
Space left on device.
That kind of makes sense. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. The source folder is taking up all the space. Give me a second. I'll allocate more memory. Or more storage, I mean.
Yeah, download more RAM.
Yeah, I actually was downloading some RAM recently.
Oh, there you go.
I went on eBay to download some RAM today because I was looking at the server logs and one of the servers has a failed RAM module. So I actually will have to take the trip up to Salt Lake and swap out RAM and swap out. One of them has had some power supply faults in the logs, so I got to swap out power supplies as well. Which is really cool.
Out.
You can, yeah. So servers,
more like doing surgery, right?
No. Servers, a lot of the components are completely modular. RAM is not. RAM, you can't just like open a tab and pull it out while it's running. But power supplies, you actually just pull one out, unplug it, put the replacement on, slide it back in, and then 2 seconds later it fires on and you're good to go.
I thought I heard on some servers you actually can pull out the RAM while it's running and just stick a new one in.
That seems unlikely to me.
Okay.
Because the RAM, the electrical content, I mean, I guess it could be possible. You can certainly do it with the disks, the SSDs. That's not a problem. Okay, so T-RPC2, here we are. Start at boot. Resources. Root disk. Yeah, we got to do this anyway. Okay, resize. We're going to give it another 8 gigs. All right, go ahead and run the rsync command again. Oh, no, that's too bad. Oh, good. Okay, it did resume. Sweet. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. Oh, dang. That's got a lot of reading of debug symbols to do. All right, breakpoint, great. And then what? Okay, and then we're going to run it. All right, cool. So now it's syncing. Can I run the same object again? I should be able to because it did. We still have the commit commented out, right? The commit transaction.
Yep.
Okay, good. Because as long as that's commented out, we can run this over and over and over and over again. All right, I am going to run it now. And excellent. Okay, we've hit the break point. So I'm going to step in and we're going to go next line. And wait, I am not seeing those prints. Oh, there. Okay, here they come.
Why did you see line 35 before line 34? That was kind of weird.
Because threads.
Okay. It's like quantum mechanics. It's like, wait a minute. How did the effect come before the cause?
All right, I'm a little confused. All right, this is a little confusing to me.
And that's going to be JSON right there. The hex through. I actually decoded that yesterday.
All right. So I'm really confused as to why it's running this multiple times. Oh, probably because the get hash function is called in like 10 places.
Yes.
All right, I'm just going to...
And you said you would assume that it gives you the same answer every time. And that's what I would hope as well.
Well, it's going to have to because the other code is running on a master node, not running on the client. Well, you know, like has to. There could be code where it changes, but no, that's very frustrating to me that there is a function called get hash that is used for completely unrelated different purposes. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. Oh man, it is doing it a ton. I'm going to make this better.
Okay.
So I'm going to kill all -D, and then it's going to say, hey, I'm dying. And I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead and die. And then it's going to die nicely. I'm going to set a different breakpoint this time. So I'm going to set a breakpoint. Well, I'm going to set a breakpoint at, let's see, where was it? Governance object, source, governance object, CPP. I'm going to, yeah, what I want to do instead No, it's source RPC governance. No, wait, where was it? No, governance comment. All right. So instead, I'm going to set the breakpoint at line 55 so that it'll do everything all at once and we're less likely to get thread interference from the pauses, but then it will pause. And then we can look at things as a whole, hopefully.
Okay.
But yeah, okay, so the good news is the signature is a single null byte. Or maybe we shouldn't call it, maybe let's not use labels, good, bad. Maybe we just say it's news.
Is that a Kung Fu Panda reference?
It is it's a quasi Wreck-It Ralph reference.
Okay.
Good, bad, labels not make you happy. It's also a quasi Monty Python reference. Let's not bicker and argue about who killed who. This is a happy occasion. All right, I'm going to do sleep 2. Is it syncing? It's verifying blocks? Why is it verifying so many blocks? Hit Control A-N to get away from that screen to let it update without having to push it over the network, and it'll do it faster. Because then it's writing directly to RAM rather than writing to the network. Oh, and I don't know if you saw this, but XK says to run make disk clean. So it may be safe to run make disk clean.
Yeah, I did that a while ago when I was rebuilding it with the new configure. So then I could rebuild it with debug symbols.
All right, let me see. Okay, I do not like seeing so much verification going on. All right, it's slowing down a little bit. All right, I think you can hit Control A-N again until you get there. All right. And... okay, so my breakpoint didn't work.
How did it not work?
Because I think that the file number was not correct. Okay. Do this for me. Let me show you the change I'd like you to make. Actually, I don't know how this works, but you hit 256 or something. I don't know.
Is that
I don't know how you declare a variable.
Okay.
Whatever the equivalent of this is.
Okay.
Is there...
we could do auto X.
Is that what it is?
Well, auto will just detect whatever type it is, right?
Why isn't that the default?
It is for some people.
Can the tooling figure out what it is when you use auto, or is the tooling
Yeah.
It's so weird to not have like a let or a colon equals or something. And then put a comment under there as well. Just put like a comment like blah, whatever, because that gives me a line to break on when all of the work has been done.
Amazing.
Actually, let's go ahead and print out that hash. It's going to print to the console anyway, but this makes it convenient.
Okay.
Do you see how much slower you are when you have to read those menus and then choose which one to select?
I just I'm not really sure how to print out this UINT 256.
As a char madoodle.
That.
Oh wait, no, as hex. Do the O2 hex thing, or maybe no wait.
Well, it's
not
going to be
O2
way
hex?
more than 2 because it's 256 bits. So that's 32 bytes. So that's 64 nibbles. So I could do, although I don't know if you can do it like that. 064. We could try.
Just do %x because we don't like if it starts with 0, then we can adjust for that. And then put that comment below. Yeah, there we go. Because then I can break on 56 after all work has been done before the return.
Okay.
All right, it's the dream team.
Stop.
Niles, XK, and AJ making the magic happen. Why'd you screw it up? Everything was working so fine. What are all these errors about? Oh, these are just warnings. Oh, that just means you're doing a good job.
Are these just warnings?
Oh, wait. Const UINT 256 to float? What?
Yeah, so because this is a UINT 256, it's not working. That's what I think. So.
Is there a 2-string on that? Isn't that one of the ones that had a 2-string on it? Yeah, because parent hash.
Get
Parent
hex.
hash is a UINT 256. Oh, get hex.
Do
There you
get
go.
hex.
And then just make it a string.
And that's a string. Yeah.
Okay.
We could do it that way.
This is great. With that rsync command, add a -- delete to it. So we don't run out of disk space again.
You're talking about the other rsync, not this one?
Not that one, because that one doesn't matter. The source rsync.
Yeah, this one's just going to overwrite.
Yeah. You can actually make it slightly faster if you use the -- in place option. I don't think it'll make it any faster at all.
Thanks for the tech tips.
Yeah. I've never seen in place work correctly. I've never seen it worked as according to the way the documentation says that it should work. But this one, -- delete would go before the path name.
This one or both?
Before both. So POSIX standard is that all arguments, all flags and options come before arguments. It might have worked the way that you did it, but it wouldn't necessarily work consistently across versions of rsync. Although I don't think that there is a difference between GNU and BSD rsync. But BSD commands follow the POSIX standard, and GNU commands are a little loosey-goosey. And then a lot of Node and Python, they just throw it all out the window. Which it's a little bit easier to do that way, to be honest. Okay. All right, cool. So now I can set my breakpoint on line 56 or line 55, whatever.
I would do 55, honestly.
All right, now it's going to run its cleanup routines. And then I'm just going to tell it to run the new one. Are the debug symbols going to be different? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe some of them.
All right, we'll have it reload the debug symbols. Yes. Actually, I don't think it needs to load a symbol table because the symbols are the same. We didn't create a new function or change the name of a function, so the symbol table should be the same. All right, all the same, we'll do info breakpoints. Okay, we've already got a breakpoint in the place that we want it, kind of, sort of. I'm just going to do delete to info breakpoints, and then I'm just going to put it in again just to be sure. Okay, yeah, because no, it didn't update the address. It's the same address. Whatever. Okay. And then we'll run this. We'll let it run for a minute. All right, we are almost there. All right, once that stops scrolling, crazy.
I thought it was so funny yesterday when we were like, it runs in my Docker container. I was laughing about that.
No! Oh, darn it. Wait.
Common.cdp 55.
Hold on. Is that? Wait, no, that's okay.
That's that last log printf with 2 new lines.
But wait, how did it hit that when I didn't run the command yet?
And why is it showing an end curly brace?
Okay, I'm just going to go continue. Maybe somebody else on testnet submitted a proposal, or maybe it retrieved it from memory. Maybe it wrote it to disk and was reading it back in. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to try this again. So 1, 2, and nothing. Okay, so write governance object failed. So I'm going to go update the timestamps again and then redo this. So let's run date.
I mean, also, that thing that we just saw, wasn't there something wrong with that? So it showed line 55 as being an end curly brace. and that's not what it was supposed to be.
All right, well, here,
Right?
let's oh, whoops. No, we don't want to quit. Hold on. Let's do continue. Want to make sure that I kill this nicely. All right, continue. Let that kill itself. We'll completely unload and reload. And you did both our syncs. I mean, just run them again just to be sure, because literally nothing should change. They should literally be no ops. They should just check some hashes or dates and be done.
Okay.
All right, good. Okay.
And this one. There you go.
All right, and then I will just make sure this was edited 7 minutes ago. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're good then. So maybe GDB just screw you, GDB.
Yeah, I might have cached something. Read those symbols.
Do you want to read some symbols? I got some symbols for you.
Okay, so common CPP in line 55, right? That's correct.
You know, I probably could have created this as a script and then run it as a script. All right, let's see our latest date. Oh, I've got it. New date. Okay, so I'm going to update our command here. I'm going to update this time. Okay, we're going to subtract 100 seconds from that. We're going to have our start epoch 100 seconds later and our end epoch 10,000 seconds later. All right. Oh, and then we're going to change the proposal name from 2 to 3. And then we're going to update this blob. And then I'm going to update that in the other screen. Okay. Wait. Okay, error loading wallet. Okay, let's wait for it to stop scrolling so much. All right, seems to be scrolling a little less now. So I'm going to go ahead and try running this governance object thing again. And switching to some other thread. Great. All right, so this is our data, but that doesn't make sense. Now here, VCH sig is not just a single null pointer. What?
Are you confused about the 8 at the front? The 80?
Yes.
Okay.
Also,
The code.
oh, dang it. It's scrolling by too fast. Stop. Oh, I lost it. Okay. I'm going to submit this one more time. I'm going to have to change the number to 4.
But I would just say they already they don't always use all zeros to mean the null value. So they used all F's for the index that one time.
Also, this may be printing out of order it may be printing. I'm not sure which is first and which is second. Is it showing? Yeah. Anyway, I'll run it again. I've just updated the proposal name.
Okay.
All right. Now it switches thread. We hit the breakpoint, and I'm just going to copy everything from here to the breakpoint, and then I'll hit continue again, and I'll do the same thing. So all right, and then can we do clear? No, that's not what I wanted. I didn't mean clear the breakpoint. I meant help. I meant clear the screen. Yeah. All right, I'm going to print this out again. Okay. Now I think we've hit the problem of too much other stuff. Like from the other threads doing things. I try.
Can we run it in single-threaded mode?
Is there a single-threaded mode? I didn't even notice that. If there is a single-threaded mode... Well, no, we can't run it in a single-threaded mode because it's got the HTTP server that's can't run on a single thread. But anyway, I think that from the output of this, that's in the Discord, I think that we have the information that we need to be able to check this, to be able to hash it all together and check it between, because we know what, well, I actually don't know that we know this. I don't know that this, yes, between the function, the set of functions you found. So here's the three things we need. One, this message. Two, the code.
Are you typing right now?
That generates this message, Discord. Three,
okay.
The function signatures that define how aka by dent I mean double left caret.
You mean angle bracket?
Left caret. It's left caret.
Left caret.
Double left caret. Double left angle bracket. So the function signatures that define how the double left caret or the right function serialize the data types, i.e. big Indian, little Indian. A program to generate the same hash. Okay, so now hard work is done. Now we're on to the easy work until we find out that the hard work that we did is wrong. Which hopefully we don't find that out.
I'm guessing we will find that out.
Well, okay, this is the problem. You might want to double check your log outputs, but the one problem is that those ++s's are random. Some of them are from our thread, but some of them are from the blockchain sync thread. The good news is that for all I believe, all of the outputs that we intended to get will be output by the time the return from the function breakpoint is hit. So at the top end, let me actually copy this over real quick so I can explain what I'm looking at on El Camera. Okay. One second while I switch over. Downloads. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get out of that. I'll just let that do its thing. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to call this gold.txt. Oops. Okay, so let's see. Oh, where'd you go? Hello?
I'm still here.
Really?
I don't have my camera on right now, but
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were showing the screen because I was going to talk about it.
okay.
All right. So, I need to hit Control A-N. Again. There we are. Okay, so this right here. So, let's see. Okay, you can kind of see my cursor moving up and down. Great. I will make the screen a little wider. I'll try to match your width here. All right, hit Control A-N. And again. And again. Okay, now I'll try to match your width because your width is wider than my width. All right, now I'm matching your width. And I'll match your height. Okay, now I've got your width and height so that this is in sync. Okay, so now I'm... Well, what'd you do? Go back. Go back. Okay, yes, this.
Okay, I see.
All right.
You're over here.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So this thread right here is the thread that we're interested in. The get hash. The HTTP
Right.
worker thread get hash. All right, so this gobject prepare happens right before that's called. So this shows what params we called it with. Now these right here, we do not know what they belong to because they could just as well be coming from another thread. I don't think that it gives any thread indicator. And maybe there's a GDB option to prefix with the thread. Let me check that out real quick. Hey, Jippity.
Yo, Jippity.
How can I make GDB prefix the thread of the output? The thread that's generating the output. Prefix an identifier for the thread. There we go. You gotta be, if you word your questions well. Set print thread events on.
What are the odds it's real?
Ooh. Okay, we should have looked at this sooner. Okay, so we're gonna run this again. We're gonna try telling GDB to use thread events because what we may be able to do. Oh, dang it. Where did my thing go? Okay. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Whoops. All right, kill all -D. I'm gonna go back to this thing, and then it's gonna wind down. Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna get out of there. I'm gonna restart GDB. I don't. Okay, are you back on this other one? Okay, if you switch over, I'm on the GDB one now.
Oh.
Okay, so, and then I gotta go find the other thing, Bob. All right. Okay, so actually, I'm going to go back. We're going to try it like this. All right, reading the symbols, great. We're going to set thread events on. And we're going to set thread IDs on. Dang it! It made it up. Okay. All right, that's okay. So we don't have thread IDs. It's just, making crap up to try to appease me. But that's okay. Because if this other stuff that it's saying is correct, then we're really gold. So it's got info threads and then thread number. So I'm going to go ahead and not worry about that. Okay, so we're going to go back to crap. How are we going to do this? Are we going to be able to do info threads? Is it going to be able to track threads? No, it doesn't have threads yet. Okay, so we're going to have it break, I guess, at the same place. All right, and we're going to have it run the same as we had it run before. I'm going to try, so while it's running and doing its thing, we can still input commands. So I'm going to try to do info on threads. Okay, did I get info on threads? I don't know, because it just started spitting out all the things. I'm scrolling back to see if I got any info on the threads. Let's see. Dang it. Yeah, I've lost it. I'm going to try pasting info threads again, because it already filled up my buffer and went past. Okay, what is this? Oh, info. Oh, okay. Okay. Did that just happen now, or was that there before? Because I didn't see it until just now.
Just now.
Okay. So, do we see HTTP worker? Okay, we see HTTP worker. So basically what we want to do then is we want continue without paging. I think that we want to get the thread ID 170.53, 170.54, 170.55, 170.56 of the HTTP thread. So those are our options. So I think we could just try switching between threads. So I could do return for more info, right? Okay. So I want to do, let's see, thread, unknown thread. Dang it. Did I get the thread wrong? Oh, the ID is over on the left. So the ID, these IDs might actually stay the same. So we might want to do thread 5 then. Let's see. Thread 5 through 8, if I'm reading that correctly. Okay, so let's try thread 5. And that's fine. And then how do I tell it to continue the main thread? How do I tell it to continue the main thread in the background? Okay, continue all threads. Cool. Okay, so if we just hit continue here, then it will continue all threads. So I don't know what this is. Is this the same one we got last time? Starts with A9? No. That one. Do any of these start with A9? Okay, none of those look like our object, or at least, maybe they were reversed. I don't know. Okay. So there's a detach command. Okay. I only want to see the output of the thread I specify, not other threads. Okay. Oh, okay. Ah! Are you falling asleep over there?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I already worked a lot of hours today.
Is it time to call it?
I think so.
Okay. If breakpoint number equal, then continue to the breakpoint. Break. Okay, it's saying that we could do break on. I don't know how to do a function name. I mean, I guess we could just try it. But good news, we're past the hard part. We have output that we can use. It would be nice if we could clean it up so it doesn't have a mix of blockchain sync data interleaved with our data. But I believe that all of our data is there. That's the main point, is that it looks like all of our data is there, even if other junk data might be there too. Like, for example, look at where, let me go to the other one. Switch to the next screen. Okay, it's not doing it in this one. Let's see. Okay. So, like, for example, right here, see it says VCH sig, but then it's got all this plus stuff. And then I'm not sure what the actual value of VCH sig is, because I think it's just like 2 zeros in the middle of here or something, because this was printing out at the same time that this was printing out. And so I think the data just got interleaved, where some of the characters from this print are here and some of the characters from this print are here simultaneously. So that's what's going to screw us up. But I think that we can kind of figure it out.
You're right. Could we open up like a separate writer for those two things, so it'll go to different destinations?
Well, that's what I was looking at in the GDB documentation, and I think that there is possibly a way to do it. Yeah. Okay, well, what if we just wrote it to a file on the file system? What if you just created a file and put it out to a file rather than, and we just get rid of GDB. Let's just get rid of GDB.
Okay.
Let's get rid of the hash data function because I don't think we need that. We don't even need the plus 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 s anymore. Let's just get rid of that, actually.
Okay.
Let's comment that out. I mean, it would be nice if we could have both, actually.
We could have separate files.
Yeah. Yeah, we just comment out the plus plus s for now because I don't know of a way to tell one thread to write to one file. Like, I don't think that C++ has any way to handle this built in. I think there might be a way to do it with GDB, but Jippity doesn't know. And yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just saying the part where we're printing out the data that's supposed to be written into the string, we could just put that in a different file as opposed to the one where we're printing out the VCH data or whatever.
So that thing that you have open right now,
Yeah.
this writes asynchronously. So it is possible, it is actually possible that it would write plus plus, then some other data, then another plus plus, then SS colon, then some other data, then space. See what I'm saying? Like the way we cannot deterministically know when the scheduler is going to switch threads. And so
Can we use a lock?
Huh?
Can we use a lock? So we lock the resource so one thread can use it, and then we release it.
What we could do, we could probably create a global mutex, lock it on line 682, and then unlock it on line 687 after the print, not before it.
Right.
And then we could do the same thing in the other file. I think that would do it. Good thinking. That was the obvious solution. Thank you.
Now the
obvious
question is,
solution,
how do
but
I
I
actually
didn't have.
make a mutex in C++? Ask Jippity.
Got some Jippity coming up.
We probably got something in here, right? If I type in mutex, probably got somewhere. Qt test has it.
Let's see.
Governance.
How can I
what is
create
this?
a global mutex?
Should be safe to lock our mutex here without risking a deadlock.
Create a global mutex across
Just don't remember.
all threads and all files in a C++ program.
Okay. Mutex lock guard. We got unique lock guard, and scoped lock. Michael, you know C++, right? I suppose I could just read what those things are. So lock guard is a forward declaration of boot.thread locks. Unfortunately, I haven't used boot.thread locks. Specified here to avoid including boot.thread, which would bring in many dependent headers, including... Okay, that's not really what I need to know.
All right, Jippity's got answers. Just create some file, throw that in there, and there's your global mutex. I guess that would be an H file. That would be global mutex.h. And then you'd have a global mutex.cpp, which would look like this. And then you would do this to guard your function.
What are you talking about, Michael? CS lock?
I don't know if we want to use one of their locks because we don't know where they're using it or how. I think we would want to use a
I think that
different
goes
global
for
lock
all
just
of
for
the
this
locks.
purpose.
I think that goes for all of the locks. I don't know what it's doing. But anyways. Okay. So yeah, let's go back to this one. And then do you got some code for me?
I do. I don't think that it's real. I think part of it's real and part of it's fake.
Okay. So we need some kind of lock.
I highly doubt. Maybe it is called LockGuard, but I highly doubt there's a standard library. Oh wait, there is. Okay, it's actually called LockGuard. I thought it was calling
There's
it
unique
LockGuard.
lock, lock guard, and scoped lock.
Okay, I think that LockGuard
We could do
is.
scoped lock, huh?
What's scope lock do?
That's a great question. Come on.
C++
Do I have documentation for this at all? Come on. Let's go to c++.com, everybody.
Oh, it looks like LockGuard. It basically is like a defer, so you don't have to unlock it. You call it at the start of a function, and it automatically unlocks at the end of the function.
Okay. And scoped lock is for what? The scope?
I'm imagining scope lock would probably be the opposite, where you define where you want it to lock and where you want it to unlock.
But it says it's RAII style, which is automatic, right? Or am I wrong about that? So yeah, you lock it, and then when you leave the scope, regardless of exception, mutex will be unlocked.
Oh, okay. So it does one better. So you can declare it in a block anywhere in the block, and when the block ends, is that what you're saying? The scope lock.
You know, this is exactly the code that we need anyways on Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Oh, that must be where Jippity got it from, because that's the same code Jippity gave us. If only there was a Wikipedia for programmers. Oh, Stack Overflow. Yeah, Stack Overflow is really, 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 really not doing well right now, I think. Because when I'm doing actual results, Stack Overflow is not showing up as much anymore. That's what happens when you sell your company to a soulless German enterprise. Which I don't remember. But Stack Overflow was sold, I think, within the last 5 years. In June 2021, Stack Overflow was sold to some technology investment firm you've never heard of for $1.8 billion. Can you imagine that? Building a small stack of software that can be managed by a handful of people that you can count, that runs on a number of servers that you can count using like 2 hands and a foot, being worth $1.8 billion.
That'd be amazing. Okay. So let's put this data in to the file. So now I'm I'm going to have to do... Okay, so I have to do the weird formatting thing where I tell the OF stream how to put the data elements in. So I have to do like file.
I wouldn't worry about the file at this point. I
What are you
think
talking
just
about?
I think just having it print, I think the lock is all that we need. Because all that we need is for it to print a single line on a single line. As long as it's printing lines individually and not half of a line and half of a line, I think we're good.
Okay. Do you want me to take out this thing? The plus S.
I think having that there as long as it's locked is good. Because then that gives us it should be the same thing. I mean we shouldn't need it because it should be exactly the same thing, but I think it would be nice to see it. Because that should show us how it is serialized. Because it's going to be serialized by the time it gets there. So for example, there's this revision 1. It looks like, let's see, hash parent hash. Yeah, okay. There's some weird stuff going on there.
Sending incremental file lists. Amazing.
I don't know what those debug symbols are doing for us, though.
A lot, apparently.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, I guess if all the debug stuff is shifted down by 1, then maybe it's got to copy it all over again.
You know, rsync is supposed to have this algorithm that is supposed to handle that. It's supposed to have a sliding window function. But I have never seen it work in practice. Okay. I wish that we had rsync rewritten for the modern age, because a lot of things were done back in the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s that were based on theories of how the internet will work when the dot-com bubble never ends and there's just an infinite way to do things. But then the reality is, nope, this is what a file looks like. These are the types of files we have. This is how we need to copy them over, you know? Like,
right.
If it's a media file, it's going to change at the beginning or the end. So, you know, just look through the first megabyte, see if stuff starts lining up. If it does, then just use an offset. Look at the last megabyte, you know, because the stuff in the middle, once you find where it starts matching in the middle for a media file, most likely thing is it's either the first megabyte or the last megabyte's going to change. And we could be generous. We could say the first 10 megabytes or the last 10 megabytes because of embedded thumbnails and stuff like that, where the embedded thumbnails are sometimes 4 megabytes or whatever. But
all right. Should be synced up, recompiled.
Right. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and start. I don't think I need to start GDB on this one.
Okay.
I think it's sufficient to just run the thing in the foreground. Actually, no, I still want to run GDB. And here's why. Because that breakpoint gives me a place where I can copy and paste the thing as a block.
I didn't delete the file open attempt. You should probably do that.
It'd probably be all right.
It might throw an error.
Ryan, were you gone for a while?
Just for a little bit, putting kids down to bed, but I've been back for quite a while.
I'm gonna recompile.
Well, we think that we have everything that we need now. We just need it to print in an order that isn't random. Because when you have a multi-threaded program, the whole program is based on hashing and everything gets hashed.
Yeah,
it's just
clogs up the logs.
It's not just that it clogs them up, it's that it splices them so that like a 0 from a hash of blockchain data can be printed in sequence with the governance object data. So we just need a lock around the function that's doing the printing so that it prints everything in the function at once and then prints the next function all at once, so that it can't have print statements from either function happen intermittently.
Speaking of which, I just thought of another problem.
Okay.
Don't think of problems.
These ones,
Think of solutions.
these ones, these ones are not referencing this mutex.
Well, yeah, put the mutex in there.
Okay.
So how long do you guys have before you think you're at a good stopping point here?
We're almost done with what we're trying to do for this next thing.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so
the next output that we get is a good pause point, and then from there, I think we have all the information that we need to be able to create the same hash. And I don't know if you were here for this part or not, but the phantom function that we couldn't find is not used in the client and might be dead code that never gets called either. So that might be why we couldn't find it, is it may not actually exist. The VCH signature is empty. So the thing I said, well, I hope it doesn't do this because that would give me diarrhea. That's what it does. When it calls the get hash function, in order to know what hash it will return, you don't pass in parameters or call a different function. You have to look through the code and find out when the function was called to know what type of hash it's going to give you. Because it'll give you one of two different hashes. Well, at least two different hashes based on when the function is called, not how the function is called.
Okay.
But thankfully today, it's not giving me diarrhea. Yesterday, it would have given me diarrhea.
So what are we hoping to see here with these final changes tonight?
Just the output that we already have, but in the correct sequence. Because the output that we have right now, it doesn't make sense because we're getting logs from blockchain sync data interspersed with logs from the data that we actually care about.
Yep.
So we just need to have it print one set of logs and then print the next set of logs. It'll still give us junk data, but this will guarantee that the data will be in groupings. Oh, also, this doesn't matter because the ++s doesn't. Yeah. So this will just guarantee that the data is
not interleaved. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not interleaved. Like each line represents a complete set of data rather than a line potentially representing an incomplete set of data. And while you're in there, now as we just double check that all of those log print functions have new lines at the end, I'll check too on my side with the code that I have. Because there is also the possibility that it looks interleaved, but it isn't.
There's new lines after all of them.
Okay. I'm going to... I don't trust. I'm going to verify.
Go ahead.
All right. There's the VCH sig one. No, it doesn't. And that's the one that I was confused about. So that one should have...
Okay, I can move this one up.
But shouldn't we just be able to do %x on it?
No, because it's a vector.
But with the lock
are
in
you
place...
talking about taking away the O2?
No. So we just need the new line printed after the VCH sig.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Okay, how do I make it so I can access my awesome mutex in this file?
Include it. So you didn't see my private chat code that I sent to you?
Oh,
I gave you a global mutex.h, a global mutex.cpp, and then the Jippity stuff, which was very similar to what you copied from Wikipedia. So that one you don't want. So you want the one above that and the one above that.
okay.
If only we had a way to share text that would be formatted properly. Let me try sending this in a gist instead, because that's, yeah, I don't.
What happened to this function? This looks weird now. Okay, so you want me to make a global mutex.h file?
Oh, crap. This got
Just doing the
totally
most. Can I just do
ruined.
an extern?
That's what it does, is an extern.
Yeah. Let's do that. Extern. Now, did it work? Has no member.
So you seem to be picking up C++ with ease. Is there something wrong with you?
Oh, it has to be extern or static. Okay, let's just get rid of the static. Now what?
Okay, here's the link.
Let's do it your way.
Here's the link so that you can actually see it, not everything on us with just one line.
Yeah.
It's not my way, it's Jippity's way.
It's Jippity's way.
Yeah.
Michael, do you agree with Jippity's way? Will an extern that should work, right?
Bump up the font if you can. Yeah.
And you could paste the link
should
in
work.
the chat.
I think it makes sense. Okay, let me try it. I need to turn down the font for a second. It's hard for me to read when the text is so large.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be smaller. Okay, new file.
Maybe you just got to sit further back.
I guess.
Like I'm over 18 inches away from my screen. I'm like, let's see, that's a foot, that's 2 feet. I think that my nose is 2.5 feet from my screen, maybe 3. Oh.
I like how we have a separate CPP file just for this. Can't we just put it in the H file? Should be able to just put it in the H file. Come on.
So Michael says you call lock CS, but the thing is,
if not defined, global mutex H define
it doesn't make sense for us to just use a lock from the code base, because then we don't know what interactions that lock does or doesn't have. We don't want to create gridlock. What's the other name for gridlock? What's
Deadlock.
the more common name? Deadlock, yeah. So if we just pick a random mutex from the code base and just call it somewhere, we could end up in deadlock. So it's better for us to create a mutex for this specific purpose than to pick one at random. Now, if we pick one at random, how likely is it that the one we pick is going to be one that has an undesirable interaction? Well, we don't know. I guess it depends on how many mutexes there are in the code base. But if we create a new mutex, then we know for certain that there are no interactions with other mutexes. And considering that the governance functions are called as part of blockchain verification, it seems like, and we know this because we saw it when we ran the debugger and it would break during startup while it was going through G-object verifications. We know that know that it's not an isolated case.
Okay. So now let's put it over here.
Well, okay, you can't just print the thread ID in each logger statement, although I would like to do that too. I don't know how we get access to that. I'll ask Jeopardy. That was what I was trying to figure out how to do in GDB, because I thought GDB would do that for us. But we can't do that because during a function call, the scheduler can switch from one thread to another thread, right? So it's not like, oh, I'm going to print the thread ID. Well, let's say the thread ID is 1234. The scheduler could have it print 12, switch threads, print hello world in another thread, switch back threads, and then print 34. So the problem is that the individual lines are not guaranteed to be written completely. So you can't just put the thread ID in front. Now, with the mutex in place, putting the thread ID in front would be a great idea. And I will go ask Jeopardy how we do that. But that was what I was hoping I was going to get with GDB, because GDB has this ability to manage threads.
Undefined reference to Google Meet.
How do we print the current thread ID in a log function? I would think that we would need access to, I mean, it would be great. This thread, get ID. Okay. Niles, we may have this. This might help us. Loggers are synchronous and flushed. They are atomic. They're only atomic if they have a mutex around them. So
well,
you might
isn't
be
it
right.
Around an individual log? So we have, well, okay.
And yeah, so that would
Maybe.
be, yeah.
Okay. So
which the
Michael,
way that we're using it, we are using it in a way that it can be weird. I think that what we're actually seeing though now that I understand, no, we're definitely seeing context switching. So we are definitely seeing interleaving, because I see VCH sig and then I see plus plus plus. Now it could be that the length of VCH sig is 0, and so that for loop never executed, and that might be why the plus 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 is there. That could be the other thing, and that's why I wanted to double check that the new lines were there, because I was thinking, oh, well, maybe we're not actually seeing interleaving. But loggers, you think loggers are synchronous. I mean, I don't know how much you know about mutexes and stuff. A logger itself is synchronous, but what the scheduler, the operating system scheduler, will not give you a guarantee, right? Because, for example, this is what memory corruption is all about. You run a function, you alter memory within the function is synchronous. But the scheduler can take that function offline, put another function online, do something else, and then bring the original function back. So you do not get synchronous behavior when you have multiple threads calling the same functions, because the scheduler makes every function asynchronous. Things that are asynchronous, like Node, the advantage to them is that they use an event loop instead of relying on the operating system scheduler for the code that you as the developer are writing. The operating system scheduler is still going to move stuff around, but the runtime managing the event loop guards the memory access. And in the case of JavaScript, it has there are some cases where I believe you can still cause memory corruption with shared workers. I'm not sure if that's true or not, because I think that they do something so that it guards that when you send data, it makes a copy, and when you receive data back, it makes a copy. So it just copies the data to avoid that problem. But in a language like C++, you don't, unless you're using a mutex, and even if you're using a mutex, you don't get to decide what the scheduler does. But if you're doing a mutex, you do get to decide that this function cannot complete while this mutex is in place.
Speaking of
Well,
which,
I mean, we could
it's-
go check the implementation of logger.
Could we though?
I mean, we could, but it's like,
I mean,
I don't want to become an expert in this code base, honestly. I want to solve a particular problem to figure out how to get a hash. This code base needs to
Sure,
burn and
but-
die.
Yeah, at least for Niles, who I think might be taking this over at some point alone. Like, I would like him to get familiar with the C++ code base, because that is currently a skill that we don't have in the incubator and is very useful. So all of this stuff will, like, setting it up and learning how to debug and stuff, like, this is useful information for at least Niles, even if you don't want to do it, AJ.
No, I agree. I'm saying that, like, we're trying to accomplish a goal. So there is, we're going to make mistakes in where we allocate our time, because we can't know what is going to yield the best fruit, right? So we could have gone down the path of, okay, let's see how the logger is defined. And that could have been a very fruitful effort, because the logger may have a mutex lock in it that we could take advantage of.
Yeah. Did you show on the screen anywhere where you were seeing the interleaving logging statements, or was that just you looking at the screen but not on the screen for the viewers?
I did show it on the screen, but it may have been our own fault, because
I was showing it. I was showing it when you were talking about it.
I wasn't looking at it, I guess. But at any rate, I think we got to wrap up for Niles' sake at least, because I know you got to wake up early. So where are you at, Niles? Are you at a point where you're getting close to the stopping point?
I was trying to recompile it, and I'm getting this error. It says undefined reference to global mutex.
Is it spelled the right way?
Yeah.
Is it imported in the file?
Yeah. Is it in SHA-256, or is it what is this? Okay, is it a name collision or what?
Oh, maybe let's change the
call
name
something
to
else.
Global Mutex 157.
Good idea.
Because Global Mutex would be a very common name.
Okay. Oh yeah, I gotta change the variable now. Beautiful.
Sorry for killing you, Niles.
Sure.
I don't have a lot of empathy as a human, but also I stay up until 4 a.m. regularly, so the concept of tiredness rarely occurs to me.
It's all good.
You say that now, but then tomorrow...
I don't understand. Why does this one care?
Maybe it's part of some sort of... it doesn't even exist, does it? It might be something like a macro.
It doesn't automatically take you to some point.
Oh, is this mutex code from C++?
Yeah.
Undefined reference to global mutex. That's weird. Maybe there is an undefined reference to global mutex, but it is not. Maybe the error is being surfaced in a file because of like templating or generics or something like that. Maybe the error is being surfaced, but it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe there is an undefined reference, but it's not where.
Do I need to extern this one?
Let's see. ChatGPT told me to extern it in the header file. I don't know about the C++ file.
I'm trying to do something so simple and I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look this up without asking ChatGPT.
We could try Michael's suggestion of just calling lock CS and just see what happens. I mean, it'll work or it won't. If that's already globally defined and available in the files and we don't have to worry about figuring out the imports.
I mean,
because I was doing it thinking that it was going to be really simple and we wouldn't have to understand the context of how LockCS works. But if we have to understand,
where's LockCS though?
I think that it is a global that is everywhere. It is definitely in the governance object file already. So if you, I'll put this over here. This is what he said. So, whoops, nope. I don't know how that pasted, but I will. Oh, yeah, I do know how that pasted. Okay, let me copy this again.
Oh, lock called with CS. Okay, so what does that even do? Let's see. It makes a debug lock, decal type CS. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of macros nested in. That's fun. Oh, what does paste2 do? It pastes. Amazing. What is that? Oh, that's some fanciness I've never seen before.
What?
Whatever this means.
I can't see. Your letters are too small.
Right.
I can't make my screen that big because StreamYard doesn't allow me to make my screen any bigger.
It's X # Y.
Well, it's probably there's probably some other macro that defines what
My
pound
earbud just
is.
died.
I said there's probably some other macro that defines
can't even hear you.
pound as an operator.
Hey Niles, we can still hear you. I'm not sure what you're. Are you hearing us?
He can't. He said his headphones just died. He's got switches. Hello, 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 hello.
I hear you.
You hear me? You hear me? I was saying there's probably some other place where it defines pound as some sort of operator.
Cool.
You just muted yourself.
Yeah, that's because I'm just playing it out of a speaker, so you can't hear yourself. So I think if you talk, you'll be able to hear yourself. I don't know.
StreamYard has a bunch of anti-noise cancellation mumbo jumbo going on.
Okay. So maybe it's fine. Okay. Let's try to do this. So we were looking at.
Oh, and then also, I don't know, maybe we should just pick it up tomorrow. I mean, we're really close, but I mean, it could be another hour of little nits or whatever. But there's the standard this thread get ID. We could print that in a prefix so that we know which thread they're coming from.
Okay. Okay, so lock CS, it looks like that just does what we want. Let's just see if it works. Is that what we did? I don't even remember now. Go back.
I'm only slightly worried that there will be a conflict.
Okay, global mutex 157.
I mean, if it'll deadlock, we'll know pretty much. I mean, we'll know right away. So, and if it deadlocks, then yeah. Well,
Okay, so we need to find this now. Where is this imported? Anyone got a guess? Well, I could actually just.
also, I don't know if we'll run into the same
It's
problem.
coming from sync.h. Do we have sync? Yes, we do. Okay. So go back.
Where is this defined?
Okay. Did it work? Did it work? We got sync.h. Come on. So do we need something else?
Lock is already in one of those
all in,
files.
Now you got to take them out one by one.
Still says it's undefined though. Where's it getting CS from?
So that is an extern that we
That's a
could.
mutable mutex inside of C Adderman.
Michael's saying the variable CS is null.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would we lock null?
It's a mutable mutex CS inside of C Adderman. So we're importing C Adderman. This whole file. Let's just import this whole file. Which ones did I paste in? Okay. That should be there, right? CS is there. The lock is not.
Yeah, at this point it seems like we'd
Did I?
be better off just, I don't know. I don't know. We okay, so the problem is that lock doesn't exist? Because
Yeah.
lock exists.
Well,
Lock-
when you
Lock
hover
is in
over that,
sync.
the error said that the error was complaining about CS.
Because we can.
No, it wasn't.
Check it again. Just hover over that null. Hover over the lock again.
Yeah,
And
this
it
one
says
says identifier
identifier
CS is
CS is
undefined,
undefined.
but it is now. So maybe I should just reset my language server. Okay, stop.
There you go.
What the heck, dude? Oh, wait. Okay. So it is in there. Wait, it's not in there. Well, let's just see if it works when I actually compile it.
Sure.
Because the language server.
I would say bring in maybe validation and use the best block mutex, because that one is, I think that's not likely to be part of the governance prepare stuff. Whereas if CS mutex is, or CS is like used all over the place, I don't know.
You said to use which mutex? I'm sorry.
There's one in source validation. I put it in the chat, the StreamYard chat. There's a few mutexes I've found that seem highly specific. I'm going to actually check and make sure this isn't used in 100 places. Yeah, This mutex is only used in two places. The gbest block mutex. So if you just imported source validation.h, you could use the best block mutex, and the only places it's used are in validation and in mining. We're not doing mining, so we don't have to worry about that. I'm sure we're doing validation, but the type of validation we're doing, I don't think would conflict with this. So you could import that one, and I think it's highly, I hope, I don't G object. No, I don't see anything about governance or G object in here. So I think it's highly likely that the best block mutex will not give us trouble. In the meantime, I am going to go ahead and get the hash function that has the data view and everything, so that once we know that we can verify this, we can just throw it in. Because I mean, at this point, maybe we don't even need as much debug information. Maybe we're trying too hard to get debug information when the code, I don't know. I understanding if VCH data is there or not is does that get a 0 or not? That would be good to know. That's the, but I think it may just be nothing. It may be nothing. The loop may have not executed. That may be why we got some interspersing. So it's hard to say. But where did that go? Let me go find the code. Okay, parent hash, governance common. Wait, where did it go? Okay, vote DB governance, G object, get hash. Nope. Okay.
Where? Okay. Right here. Okay. So these are the two that we're looking at. Okay. So you were telling me about the let's do that. Do that. Let's do that. I don't understand. Okay. So we got undefined reference. It should. Okay, so you wanted to use the G best block mutex, right? And that one came from, what was it? Validation.h. Okay. So we're defining it as mutex, which is, of course, SCD mutex, I assume. Oh, it's annotated mixin. Okay. What's the problem? All right. I don't know why we can't just have a mutex that's shared between these files.
Stars, not aligned. Can't do it.
I just don't understand why this is so hard.
All right. Well, let's call it a night. We'll
Okay.
return to this later, or not.
We're so close. I think a good evening rest will be all that is needed. I mean, look at it this way. Niles learned C++ in his sleep last night.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna end the stream. We'll just stick around for a second, AJ and Niles, and we'll chat for a little bit.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.